Good.
Alright. Hello, my name is Christy Graves, and I'm from First Baptist School of Rosemount. And today I'm going to be teaching a Bible lesson directed towards younger kids. But the title of my lesson is basically baking a cake, which is why I have a cake up here if you're all wondering. But this lesson is kind of ironic, because anyone that knows me even a little bit knows that I'm horrible at baking. I can't bake, I can't cook, I can't do anything, which is really bad. But I decided to talk about baking today because there are many different ingredients used to make a cake or cookies or whatever you want to bake, bread. So I have a few ingredients listed here like sugar, flour, eggs, salt, water, any of those things that you could use for baking. And some of those things taste really good by themselves, like sugar. I love eating sugar, which isn't good, but I love eating sugar. But some things don't taste so good by themselves, like eggs, just a raw egg is not good by itself. Or even like salt or flour. You don't want to eat that by itself. When I was younger, my two older sisters liked messing with me, and they told me that what I was eating was sugar, and it was definitely salt. And it did not taste like sugar, so that was pretty gross. But there's a big difference in certain ingredients, and some of them taste really good by themselves, and some not so good. But when you put all the ingredients together, it's going to make a really good cake if you put it together correctly. So I want to talk today about putting those ingredients together and how God is working in our life through good experiences and bad experiences. Some things will happen in your life that are really good and they're happy ending, even just something small like a birthday, that's a good experience for you, or getting saved, which is an amazing experience. Things like that God puts in your life, but also some bad things that God will throw in there. And at the time, it's not going to seem like it's that great. It won't taste good by itself, but once you mix it in with the other ones, He's going to make it work out perfectly for you. And so like I said, have had some bad experience with baking. My mom, one time, she tried to get me to learn how to make homemade bread. And she had me try the first time, and it was a complete fail. She's like, we're going to do it again, Christy, you're going to get it. So I did it again, and it was another complete fail. And I'm like, Mom, I can't do this again. She's like, you're going to do it again. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't make this dumb bread. I can't make it. She's like, you're going to make this bread. And she's like, I'm going to watch over your shoulder. You're going to make this. And so she watched every single step that I did, and I finished it. And it was a complete fail. I just can't make anything. I really can't. And I tried so hard. I was with my friend, and we were trying to make brownies. We wanted to make a double batch because we had more people. But then we ended up putting it all into one pan, and then we ended up with brownies like that thick, and it just didn't work out. So anything we basically try ends up a fail. And even trying to frost a cake, I can't do that either. I worked at Cold Stone, an ice cream place, if you don't know where that is, and the workers, I had been working there for a couple months about, and if you know anything about Cold Stone, they have some really amazing ice cream cakes. And I could make the cake because it was all ice cream, so you just have to mix it all together and then freeze it. But I was trying to learn how to frost the cake. And the worker was trying to teach me. He had this round spinning wheel, and he had this like square flat thing, and he would just like flap this frosting on top of the cake and then spin it and like fashion it like perfectly. And I just watched him. I was so mesmerized, and I was just, oh my goodness, how are you doing this? And so I'm like, can you teach me? He's like, yeah, I'll teach you. And so I'm trying to flap all this frosting, it's going everywhere. I'm like, okay, I'm really, really bad at this. He's like, it's okay, you'll get it. I'm like, okay, we'll try it. So I keep flapping this frosting on. He's like, okay, now spin it, and then I'm like, ended up like digging this square thing into the cake. And I am not doing well with this cake. I just can't do anything. So I would love to be able to make something like this, but this is from Cub. I can't do that. But a lot of ingredients will not be that great together, and of course I have Bible examples as well, as we always find everything we need from the Bible. And I want to talk about the story of Joseph. Joseph had a lot of bad experiences in his life, and I'm sure you know the story of Joseph, but just to go over it, a quick recap of some of the major events in his life. First of all, he was the favorite. His dad liked him more than anyone else, and that made all of his other brothers hate Joseph. And they didn't like him because of that. His dad favored him. He gave him a beautiful coat that no one else got. And his brothers did not like him for that. And so what his brothers did was they sold him as a slave. And that's pretty horrible. They threw him in a pit and sold him to be a servant to people. I mean, I can't even imagine my siblings doing that. That would be horrible. But so first of all, his brothers hate him, which is horrible enough, and then they sell him, so he's become a slave. And then, as he's a slave, he's working for this man. And he's kind of moving up because he's a good worker. He's working for this man, Potiphar. And Potiphar is realizing that he can have more responsibility with Joseph because Joseph has proved himself. He respects him. So he's kind of put him in charge of some more things. But then Joseph ends up getting wrongfully accused of something he did not do, something horrible. And since Potiphar is so high up, he puts Joseph in jail for that. So Joseph ends up in jail. So he's already he already doesn't have the greatest life right now. And so he's in jail. And while he's in jail, he's still doing what's right. He's still doing the best he can. And he earns the respect of those in jail. And they move him up the ladder, and he becomes kind of in charge of the jail. He's just right under the jail keeper. He gets to take care of those people in there. And he ends up helping a couple other men with a story about their dreams and everything that I'm sure you know. But he helps them, and this guy that's about to get out of jail, he explains to him how he can get out of jail, and he does. And the guy completely forgets about him when he was going to help Joseph get out of jail as well. And so he's been sold, he's been a slave, he's been wrongfully accused and put in jail, he's been forgotten while he's in jail. And once he gets out of jail, he ends up going and telling the dreams of the Pharaoh. So he's gone all this way, and finally he's gone all the way up to the Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh has so much respect for him and how much he's done. And it's all because Joseph followed God in his whole entire life. So many things happened to him, and yet he trusted God through everything. And he ends up second in command. The only person that's in charge of him is Pharaoh. I mean, I like that, to tell people what to do. But it's just amazing where he's come from through his entire life. And so much has happened to him, and he still trusted God to bring all those bad events and not very many good events and put them all together and make his life great. And he ends up saving a nation because of what he's done and who he's trusted in. I know that sometimes the Bible can seem like it's just stories. Like, it doesn't really seem that real sometimes, even though it really is. I kind of wanted to bring a real-life example besides myself into this as well. And my dad over here, my dad, when he was younger, he is from Taiwan, and he is from a different nationality. When he was younger, in elementary, he was made fun of a lot. He was bullied about his nationality, and it had gotten to the point where it was very bad. His teacher had to send him out of the room and talk to the kids about his bullying him and tell them to stop. And it had gotten really, really bad, and that hurt my dad. But as my dad has grown up, obviously times have changed and everything, but my dad is now the principal of our school. He was the youth director for a while. He cares about kids. And something bad that he went through that obviously was really hard for him at some point, it made him into the person he is today. And God used that to bring him, and now he works with kids. He understands what he's gone through and what these kids might have gone through, and he can work through it with more kids. And so God is always going to use these rough experiences that you can't really see right now as being good at all. In the long run, he will use it if you trust him and work with him with it. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about today, and I just thank you for listening, and hope you guys have a great day.